Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, may His blessings and peace be upon His last Prophet and his household. All praise is due to Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dear brothers and sisters, respected viewers, may God's peace and blessing be with you wherever you are. This is another episode on the series on Al-Asma al-Husna, Divine Attributes. In this program, I talk to you about divine attributes, and we have discussed some of the divine attributes so far as presented and expressed in Holy Scripture of Islam, Holy Quran, and also in Islamic tradition in general. Now, one divine attribute that we were talking about was the Al-Hakam al-Adl, and we said that on the Day of Judgment there is the judgment, ultimate judgment of everything. And we said that Al-Hakam comes from the Hikmah, which has connection to another divine attribute, which is Hakim, wisdom. And there are other names related to Al-Hakim. One of them is Al-Mudabbir. Al-Mudabbir comes from the word At-Tadbir. Tadbir means comes from the root dabr, which means behind. Now, if you want to give a good English translation for this, it is prudence. Prudence means to have an insight and vision about the results of something, about what it leads to, about what is behind what appears initially. So God is Al-Mudabbir because He knows, and with His wisdom, not just the appearance that He takes in consideration, but also the result that sometimes goes against the initial appearance. He takes into consideration both of them, initial appearance and the ultimate result. That is why His wisdom is comprehensive, and this specific aspect and dimension of wisdom is called Al-Mudabbir, or the one with prudence. And we have another name. There is another divine name that is Al-Muqaddir, that comes from the root Al-Qadr or Al-Taqdir. Al-Muqaddir means God determines everything according to measure, and there are laws. One of the good examples of this and manifestations of this divine attribute is the physical laws of nature, that everything is according to measures. Everything can be measured according to principles and laws. This is called, or this is a manifestation of Al-Taqdir, of Al-Muqaddir, the one who measures and the one who makes laws. One other divine name that comes together with another is Al-Awwal. Al-Awwal means the first, and it is applied and it is used to refer to God because of the sense that He existed before everything else. And whatever we can imagine, God precedes that imagination. That is why the name Al-Awwal is applied and is used to refer to God, Al-Awwal. And another name exists for God, and it is Al-Akhir, which means the last. And He exists after everything dies. According to the narration, according to the narrative that Holy Quran has regarding the destiny of the universe, everything dies and everything finishes in the universe, and then the Day of Judgment starts. Al-Akhir means the one who stays after everything dies. Al-Awwal wal-Akhir, they come together to denote that God is the first and the last. Before everything, before universe, God existed. And after everything, after universe goes to nothingness, God exists as well, stays there. Al-Awwal wal-Akhir. There are two other names that they come together as well. Al-Zahir wal-Batin. Al-Zahir means the manifest, the outer. And it means that God is manifested, is so manifest that even sometimes because of this complete and absolute manifestation, people cannot see it. Sometimes because the light is so much strong, people cannot look at it. So Al-Zahir has a relation to the name An-Nur that we will be talking about later. So Al-Zahir means the manifest. Al-Batin means at the same time that God is manifest. And as I said, like the example of the light, a strong light, people cannot perceive that. He is Al-Batin, which means hidden. So at the same time, he is manifest and he is hidden. Now, this is only possible for God. And like the way Al-Awwal wal-Akhir, the first and last, are possible. Now, with this seemingly paradoxical names like Al-Zahir wal-Batin, we have to give example in which we understand it better. One traditional example that is used in Islamic tradition and philosophy is the light, the analogy of light. Actually, the name Nur or light has been used to describe and to attribute to God. In the Holy Quran, we read, Allahu Nuru samawati wal ard. One of the names of God is Nur, light. And light is both manifest and hidden. How? Light itself cannot be seen, so it's hidden. And it makes everything else to be seen, visible. Now, we see the combination of visibility and invisibility in the light. While light is the source of visibility, with the necessity factor to enable us to see and to observe things, at the same time, light itself cannot be seen by human eyes. So this is an analogy that while God is the cause of everything and everything exists under the determination, under the creation of God, God himself cannot be seen the way other things can be seen or can be perceived by human beings. So this analogy can be used in order to understand Al-Zahir wal-Batin, manifest and hidden at the same time. Another divine name is Al-Malik. Al-Malik means the king or sovereign. Now, king for us has some political senses, but absolute kingdom means absolute control. Al-Malik means the being that has absolute control and sovereignty over everything. It does not depend on anything, but everything else depends on him. It does not need anyone, but anyone else needs him and his approval for their actions. In this sense, God is Al-Malik, or the king, or the sovereign, and it has been used in the Holy Quran. Another name that is close to this name, Al-Malik, is Al-Malik. Al-Malik means the king, Al-Malik means the owner. One means the ruler, the other means the owner. So both of them are used for God. Al-Malik, the ruler, and Al-Malik, the owner. Al-Malik means the owner of everything, the owner of the universe. In the first surah of the Holy Quran, Surah Al-Hamd, we recite Maliki Yawmiddin, which means the owner of the day of judgment, the day in which the manifestation of his kingdom will be seen vividly by everyone. We read in the Holy Quran, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ. To whom the kingdom today belongs. The call comes to Allah, the One and the Qahhar. We talked about Qahhar in previous episodes. So, ruler and owner are two divine attributes that have been attributed to God for different senses. Ruler means the one who controls and everything, and owner means the one who has the right of ownership, the right of interference and intervention in the object of the ownership. And his intervention, as I said previously, is limited by his wisdom, or is led by his wisdom. And also his patience. Another divine name is Al-Wadud. Al-Wadud means the one who has continuous care, who has continuous kindness. Ar-Rahim means the one who has mercy, and we talked about the different kinds of mercy in previous episode. But Al-Wadud means the one who builds up a kindness, build up a relationship based on kindness and care. Al-Wadud means God, step by step, create the hope, create the wood in the hearts of the believers. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. The believers have the higher levels of hope and wood toward God. And also, He creates the hope in the hearts of people toward the pious people. We recite in the Holy Quran, الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات سيجعل لهم الرحمن ودا. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات سيجعل لهم الرحمن ودا means God creates the wood, which comes from the same root as wadud. He creates the wood and like or love toward pious people in the heart of people, which means if a person is pious, automatically by the divine will, the people will like him and love him. So this is another meaning of Al-Wadud, the one who creates hope in the hearts of people. Now, another divine name is Ash-Shakur. Ash-Shakur means appreciative. If we deal with God, if we do something sincerely for God, which is a very difficult task, then He's gonna appreciate, He's gonna reward the ones who do things just for the sake of God, sincerely. And Ash-Shakur means he does not miss, he does not, because he is Al-Raqib, he is Al-Hasib, he keeps records of everything, he watches everything, and he knows everything, even the intentions of people. He will not miss those actions that have been carried out with sincerity and with loyalty to the divine cause. So Ash-Shakur means appreciative to the actions that have been carried out for the sake of God. Divine names in general can be divided in two categories. Those that can be shared between human beings and God. And we said we learn these divine names and we learn the meanings of these divine names in order to try to mirror them. Like, for example, Al-Ghafur, forgiving. We try to be forgiving like the way God is forgiving. We try to be appreciative like the way God is appreciative. We try to be just like the way God is just. Now, we try our best. It is for sure that human beings cannot reach that level, but it is possible for them to mirror some of the divine attributes. Some of the divine names that cannot be shared between human beings and God, like the ever-living, like the omniscient, like the Mutakabbir, the one who manifests his power and pride, that is not good for human beings to do. We should be humble according to the teachings of divine scriptures. So what we do and the purpose that we have in learning these names, according to the teaching of Allama Tabatabai in his great exegesis of the Holy Quran, Al-Mizan, he writes, we learn these names in order to make a comparison between us and the Lord that we worship, and in order to increase humility and humbleness inside ourselves. We have a kind of khushu toward God when we learn about the greatness of God, when we learn that about the omniscient of God, when we learn about His divine attributes. So two purposes are there for learning divine attributes. One is to mirror them, to try to be like them, and the